We'd like to start the evening with an incredible young lady who is a Cedar Canyon grad and soon to become a Gering High School graduate. She has an older sister that will attend Doane, and I believe, is that where you're headed to? Yep, headed to Crete. Kayleigh Schadwinkel has been involved in several school activities and other activities like 4-H. She has 4 horses. That's pretty impressive. She has a love for dance. She's been dancing since 3rd grade. She's performed in volleyball for a number of years. Might be some influence there in the family. She has done a great job in volleyball. She led Cedar Canyon to a championship, huh? Yeah. And of course, Gering has been to the state volleyball tournaments under her leadership. She is the All-Region, Star Herald All-Region Volleyball Player of the Year. She's also deeply involved in her church, Scots Club Zion Evangelical, Awana, Sunday School and Youth Group, an active member of the FCA throughout her high school years. She attended the FCA Max Out Camp in 2010, 2011 as well. Let's give a big round of applause to Gering High School's Kayleigh Schadwinkel.
As Rob Barney has said, I'm Kayleigh Schadwinkel, and Nate Lewis asked me to give you my testimony tonight, and I was deeply honored to share how Christ has changed my life, and how one day in particular has reshaped my mentality and how I compete. My family has always gone to church. We go to Zion Evangelical Church in Scotts Bluff. I've always attended Sunday School Church, and I've been an active member in Awana. But because of this, I've been blessed to hear the word several times since I was little. I accepted the Lord as my personal Savior when I was 3 years old. My mom helped lead my sister and I both to Christ when we were in our old house back around where Cedar Canyon is. And she helped me see that I needed a Savior and that my ways were sinful. Because of this, that one choice has helped shape my life completely. As I was talking to my mom about doing this testimony tonight, we were reminiscing back to the days when we were little. And especially to one during Christmas time. The year after I accepted Christ, we decided to give gifts to Christ for his birthday for Christmas. And now looking back at them, they really stood out. And for being so young, we actually gave gifts that, for little kids, it was quite amazing to get the point across. But here were some of them and the meaning behind them. The first year we gave Christ a candle with and a birthday cake. And I was thinking about this, and this is a perfect example of Psalms 119, 106. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. That is one verse that has inspired me throughout my entire life, that his word is my life. You can't go wrong without Christ. You can't go wrong without him. And for being little and realizing that, that's pretty cool. The next year we made crowns, and that he's the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. He's the King of my life. The next year we gave a teddy bear and a blanket, which represents that God is our friend. He's always there to comfort you. And lastly, the very last year that we gave, we asked our mom if she could make us a pillow in the shape of a heart. And you might ask, well, what's the point of that? And the reasons why we told our mom is because we want to give our heart to Christ. And our hearts to honor him for what he did on Calvary. I later rededicated my life to Christ on June 21st, 2006. I was down in the barn with the horses and whatnot, and I was surrounded by God's wonderful creation, and it really hit me. And, and that's when I realized that I wanted to rededicate my life to Christ so I could remember it. And then I always wanted to live for him. After that day, I've had real good role models in my life to be able to showcase how to live for him. My youth pastors at my church, my fellow friends and stuff have helped to guide me to the person I am today, and as well as my family. But there's one day in particular, like I said, that has changed my life in many ways, and especially in sports. For many of those who don't already know, my family is heavily involved in sports. I was born during volleyball season, and both my parents have coached volleyball for, I think my dad's almost for 26 years, and my mom is pretty high up there as well. And because of that, for sports, like I've always put my faith into it. I've always prayed before games and after games, praying for safety and to do well during it. But when I went to the 2010 Max Out Camp, that really changed my perspective towards it and the way I compete. That day, Nate Lewis called the day before. He's like, we need some more people to come. I was like, okay, sure, I'll go. Didn't really know what I was getting myself into, I'll admit that, now that I look back at it. Because he said we were going to play volleyball that day and do conditioning, weightlifting. He's like, I can handle that, I play volleyball, I can do this. Well, little did we know that there was enough kids to be able to play volleyball. So instead we were playing 3 sports: basketball, soccer, and football, and conditioning. I can handle the conditioning, played football when I was in elementary school, but soccer and basketball, well, let me tell you, God has blessed me in many things, but not in those 2 sports. For many people who know me, playing junior high when we were in PE, I would tackle people, didn't mean to, but God didn't bless me in those 2 sports. And throughout the day, they kept saying one verse in particular: whatever you do, work in it with all your heart, not for man, but for God. And that's Colossians 3:23. I felt completely out of my comfort zone that day. I play volleyball, do track, dance, and cheerleading and stuff like that, and do speech, but I never really, the other 2 sports I don't do very well at. And because of that, I was able to be put out of my comfort zone, which was a good thing. I believe, now looking back at it, if I would have been able to play volleyball during that day, I would never have gotten the message across. When you are in your comfort zone, you rely on yourself. You know you can do it, not God. And because of that day, they kept reiterating, well, we were in Scottsville High School, first off, and you know the colors, red, black, and white, which were perfect. They kept saying, whatever you're doing, find something. Like, they said, find a banner. If you're playing basketball, look at the hoop. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. I was like, well, okay, sure. And the mentality behind it was, they said, when you're looking at something, when you feel like you're drifting away from Christ and you're wanting to glorify yourself and not Him, that to look back at that spot that he was just to look at that spot that will remind you back to Christ. And the good thing was, with it being at Scotts Bluff, the colors are red, black, and white. And I kept looking around, and I kept thinking, the black, my heart was like as sin. The red, Christ died on the cross for my sin, and His blood was shed for me. And the white was when I was, was when I was white as snow, after I put my faith in Him. Because of that day, my life has changed completely. I learned that I can have Christ in all aspects of it, not just in the beginning or the end, but during the whole thing. And because of that, the Lord has blessed me to grow in my faith, and it's also helped me to learn to glorify Him in all aspects. He has blessed me to do very well in volleyball as well in speech. And by reflecting back at Him during the games and during the speech meets, I know when I put my trust in Him, He got me way farther than I could ever go. Oh, excuse me. But the Lord has blessed me in many ways, and because of me just giving it over to Him, not worrying or doubting myself, He gave me indescribable peace. The peace that He gave me is, I can't even explain. Sorry. But it was just wonderful just to be able to play, or to speak, or to jump. Because you know you have nothing to worry about, because it's in God's hands. Whether I'm triumphant or whether I fail, it is all worth it, because I'm glorifying God. And I know through this year, especially in track, I've been able to be tested that. Sorry, I keep crying, don't mean to. But this year in track, I was told that I have gluteus medius is weak, which when being a jumper, I do long and triple jump, which with that being my jumping leg, that's kind of hard to be able to go your distance when you're weak on your strong side. Because of that, one verse in particular, Philippians 2:13. God has a good purpose for everything. Whether we'll admit it or not, He always has something good to come out of something bad. Throughout the year, I haven't been able to jump as far as I would like. Last year I was jumping 16-11, and this year, barely hitting 16. Well, for being hurt, I'm still doing pretty well. And I haven't been able to do triple jump like I usually do, which has been kind of tough because I'm watching everyone else do it. But being able to realize that God has a plan for me, that has helped me get through it. In addition to that, tonight in particular, my eyes were truly opened. Tonight at practice, we had a pretty tough workout. We had to run 3 200s full out. And then after that, we had 6 150s. Stride it, and then you had to move full out. I didn't think with having a bum leg, I could do it. The first 2 of them were pretty tough. But then the cool thing was, going on the 3rd one, I was dying. I could not do it. The leg was hurting pretty bad. I told this to my mom, I started crying, but halfway through the 200, I could not take it anymore. And I said, God, help me. Just help me. You'd be surprised. The next 6 150s, I had the most energy I've had the whole season. One of my track members is here now. They gave me a huge compliment afterwards. They said, how on earth can you be running that quickly? And how on earth can you still be the best when you're hurt? And you're still peppy and excited for life when you're hurt. And I didn't tell it to him, but I sure thought it is because of Christ. When you hand your life over to Him and trust Him in all your ways, well, I believe it's Proverbs 3:5-6, when you acknowledge Him in all your ways and trust Him, He will make your path straight. And fully relying on God in all aspects of your life will truly make your path straight. Regardless if you know what the purpose is for it at the time, He always promises a calm landing and a safe passage and a calm landing. The Lord has blessed me in many ways, like I've said, and I'm truly blessed to be able to stand in front of you and to cry in front of you, I guess you could say. But He has truly strengthened me. Like I said, what the freshman said tonight truly put me in perspective that it is God who does all the glory, and it's always for Him. Thank you again for letting me speak in front of you, and I appreciate it. Thank you.